Welcome back. We are recording here live at the Cvent Connect conference. We're on the third floor outside the Innovation Pavilion. Monica Martin, welcome.
Hi, nice to be here.
Glad you are here. Thank you. How's the event been for you so far?
Event has been amazing.
Awesome.
Cvent has outdone themselves yet again. Another fantastic Connect 2025 here in beautiful San Antonio. And every year I come in and say, you know, I've been there, done that, and outperform, outclass every single year what they did the year before. So just amazing.
What stands out to you at an event like this that makes it so special?
So I think there were two things this year that really did it for me. Number one was the amount of personalization that was in their app.
Yep.
I knew exactly where I had to be when I needed to be somewhere. So they're definitely drinking their own champagne and making sure that we are being personalized too.
Yep.
And then the other one is just I think the overall robustness of the programs that they're putting into play. There is something for everybody. There's no way that you could come to a Cvent Connect and not walk away with 5 new pieces of information.
Yeah.
So really top notch.
It's impressive. I think it's difficult when you've got an event technology company marketing to event professionals at an event. There's a lot of meta going on there.
Oh yeah.
And it's a high bar because I think people here, they know what a good event looks like. And so to hear people here, to see the energy here as well from people that are just, boy, events are back in a big way.
Big way.
We're going to talk about a component of that here today. Excited to have you here. We've got Monica Martin. She's the manager of marketing operations at Baker Tilly. And there have been a lot of conversations over the last couple of days about this concept of total event programs and event-led growth and really creating events at the center of your go-to-market strategy. And increasingly, we're seeing companies really think about self-service models. And that's what I want to talk about here today. I think that this is something that isn't a part of a lot of go-to-market strategies and event strategies. And we'd love to hear about from you of what does that mean and why is it something you're looking at to build into your go-to-market event motion as well?
Yeah, happy to do so. So we've been working with Cvent, our customer success manager, and with Cvent Consulting. So I came to Baker Tilly in 2022 and we were just getting back into the entire event spectrum. And before my time coming there, all of the events were taken care of by agency marketer, and these are our external facing events. So where we are going to events or we are hosting events, not our internal side. And so that's 500 plus events per year that were being hosted within some brand standards. They might have had a little bit of uniqueness to each one of them, but they were taken care of ad hoc. When I came in, our CMO had a vision to centralize all of the events so that there was some brand consistency. There were guardrails that were put up in place. There was a consistent attendee experience when you would go event to event. And my team of myself plus 4 more, so a team of 5, we really can't handle 550 events per year. So what does that mean? So the first thing it meant to us is that we had to come up with some sort of a tiering model. So we've got high touch. These are our really important events. These are the ones that have our VIPs at them. They might have a large number of our principals at them. From a dollar perspective, these are our top budgetary budget. They're also what we would consider to be our big bets. So these are the ones that we're putting a lot of investment into. Then we've got our medium ones, which are kind of a collaboration between still our agency marketers and us as the events team. We can do a little bit more for you, but you still get to kind of drive the boat. Then we come to our smaller events. And these are not unimportant events, but these are events that are a little bit lower touch. These are events that are not as much risk involved to them. So there's not the players that are involved that we need to have a little bit more of that white glove experience to. These are the ones we're looking at for more of that self-service model.
Got it.
And these are repetitive. These are the ones that have a higher frequency. And as I said, a little bit lower risk when it comes to the overall experience. Think of these kind of in the realm of small user roundtables, happy hours, any kind of maybe a cocktail reception, something that happens over and over again where if we could get something in place that says, this is how you do it, then it can be executed on time and time again in this repetitive but well-constructed model of self-service.
So you talked about some of the benefits of a self-service model, in a scale, speed, better use of internal resources, cost control for sure. I think one of the things I've heard a lot of people talk about as a concern with self-service is still losing some of that control. Self-service model doesn't necessarily mean it's all going to go as planned. How do you try to mitigate that when you're designing what a self-service model is going to look like?
So again, we're kind of in the ideation stage here. So I'm taking best practices from actually people that I've met at Cvent before and leaning into some best practices that our Cvent customer success manager has been able to share with us as well, and things that we've seen and been able to kind of execute through in the field. So what we've really learned in our exposure so far, things that are going to help mitigate that risk is putting up some guardrails.
Yep.
And those guardrails are still TBD, but things like, you have to comply by brand guidelines. You need to run your things through legal. Contracts need to go through legal. You need to have brand standards that are there. We have to talk in the same kind of brand voice, whatever the invitation is that's going out.
That's right.
And when it comes to ensuring that contracts are fulfilled correctly, and are we taking advantage of the fact that through all of our small events, we have procurement involved that is going to be able to recognize that we're taking advantage of that kind of bulk buy processing.
Talk a little more about the type of events you think are really good for this kind of a model. I think, when I've seen self-service work in the past, it's been a lot of sort of field events for sales, for account management teams, those that already have a relationship with some of the people that are going to be there.
Yeah.
In the ideation phase, and as you guys think about what this looks like, are there certain types of events and contexts of events that you gravitate towards more?
So I would say that when we are attending a conference, for example, we're going to Bob's Animal Show.
Yep.
Oftentimes we want to have a happy hour attached to that. We can take some guests with us, we can go to the happy hour, get to meet them a little bit more. Usually it's attached to the event in some way, shape, or form, and that happens over and over and over again. So that kind of repeatable, where we can put together a very clear step-by-step guide, how to do it, what to look for. Same kind of invitation, same kind of registration. That's what we're looking for as far as a good model to start with in this self-service journey.
Got it. We are recording this outside the Innovation Pavilion. Cvent Connect, excited to be here with Monica Martin. She's the manager of marketing operations at Baker Tilly. I've seen versions of this work in the past. They've been kind of like event in the box kind of playbooks.
Yes. Yep.
And giving people guidelines. And even if you give people some brand guidelines and materials and here's some things you can pull out and print out, whatever else, it still is a challenge without the right technology in place. It's still a challenge without having sort of the back office work that sort of integrates it with the rest of your go-to-market systems. Talk about how you at Baker Tilly in general think about marketing ops to support events and how that will apply on the self-service side as well.
So actually I'm keeping my fingers crossed as I say this.
Sure.
We are very excited about the impending general availability of Essentials.
Nice.
So that's what we are planning on putting into play for this. That will be our tech stack that will take care of our registrations, our website. It will have the ability for us to link people directly to the access portal and be able to pull resources from there. So they can have a set template for what they're looking for. They can have as you said, a playbook, direct access to some menus that we can provide for them. So, I'm going to have 50 people. We know that your return on registration is looking at about 60%. So you don't need to order for all 50. You need to order for maybe about 25.
Right.
So those kind of little hints and tips will all be a part of that event in a box packaging and whatever that naming convention comes around to it.
I love that. I think let's ideate together a little bit, because you got me thinking about how to use cases for where a self-service model could work. One of the things I think a lot about, we've talked about this in a few episodes, is partner enablement and really helping to enable a partner ecosystem to be successful, whether it's market development funds or just partners that want to do a good event. You've got a set of best practices of what an event can do to be successful. I'd love to hear other things that you've, in sort of thinking about where self-service programs can go. What are the other sort of use cases you're thinking about?
So we're also thinking about it. I'm going to step a little bit outside of my realm here because my colleagues over in our internal events are also thinking about it quite a bit as well. What we really love is the fact that Cvent's toolkit will enable us to have it firm-wide. So it's not just going to be a siloed compartment of information. We're looking to really deploy it across our entire firm. So we're looking at things like in-office events. We're looking at things like lunch and learns, maybe things such as small half-day trainings that just require a little bit of help along the way, but not a lot of high touch. Easy things like dinners to put together. Just those kind of repeatable, again, low risk is where we're coming from on these.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges in putting together a self-service model is that you can say, okay, like we're going to put less time and attention on this over time, which is one of the benefits of doing it. But I think it won't work if those programs work in silos, right? It won't work if you just have sales or account management doing it off on its own. What are some considerations when you think about supporting that across functions, especially from an ops standpoint?
Absolutely. I actually was able to speak about the self-service model yesterday, and the colleague next to me, that they have already launched their self-service program, and now she's in the piloting phase of it. She said that their meeting request form, that we know is very integral to the Cvent componentry, is not actually, in their vernacular, a meeting request form. It's a meeting registration form. Okay. So that is, to me, a huge key takeaway is let's get every single event meeting registered so we can start to have visibility on them. Because when you have visibility into them, then you can see how often they repeat, how many attendees are there, so that then you can start to say, well, I don't need to touch this one as much because it's going really well. Another thing about where we're looking at is getting a good taxonomy across the entire firm. What are all of these events? What do they look like? What are they called? What are roles and responsibilities? Clarity and defining is going to really be essential in this.
That's right.
And then tiering those, that high touch, medium touch, and low touch will then further help define how we're going to pull out which ones of those are going to be the self-service events that we are going to be moving forward with.
So we got a little bit of time left. I want to pull back and ask a question around the broader event strategy at Baker Tilly and talk about scorecards and what you measure and sort of how to determine whether an event has been successful. And what elements of that do you sort of see as sort of carrying over to the self-service model as well?
So that's a little bit still in process.
Sure.
As I said, we're a little bit new to the game here as far as having a centralized program. So that's actually one of the things that Cvent is also helping us work on is how to actually measure events with a scorecard that will be something that is maintainable and repeatable so that we can have good qualitative data coming in and then be able to measure against it. When I think about our events, each of our key stakeholders might have a little bit different vision as to what makes an event successful. So being able to define what those are and then capture that and then measuring each one via a survey afterwards or doing analysis thereafter can help us really begin to identify how did this hit the mark or what can we do to ensure that next time it can hit the mark.
I know you're early in this process, but I also know that means there's people that are earlier in the process, meaning they haven't even thought about self-service to begin with. It's not something that's really even on their radar. And I think in general, like when it comes to event strategy overall, let alone self-service, this is all just a journey versus a destination. Like the rules keep changing, trends change, what people are willing to engage with continues to change. For those that haven't even started along this, that may have started this episode saying, hadn't even thought about self-service as an option, what are some things you're already starting to learn? What are some lessons for people getting started that can help them accelerate their progress down this path?
I would say number one is get started. Do something. Don't just sit still. Do something. Number two, don't draw things with Sharpies, draw things with pencils so that we can move that line if it needs be. Which kind of leads to the third thing is start small. We're looking at piloting very small nuggets of programs to begin with, to be able to have a feedback loop, to be able to refine, then start to have more of a broader scale to look for adoption and then further get the buy-in on it. So I think those are the things that I'm really considering is can't solve the world to begin with. It's going to take a process of time, but do get started on something and move forward.
We're 7 episodes in on these recordings. You may have just given the best piece of advice of the session so far. The idea that you're writing in pencil and not in Sharpie. And I think about the context in work and in life. If people knew that this was in pencil and there was an eraser on the other side of the implement, would they be a little more courageous in giving something a shot?
I think so, yeah.
And how do we encourage, and this is a broader question, maybe we'll end on this, is how do we encourage a culture of pencil? How do you encourage either in your marketing team or your company overall the ability and the courage to go and try something knowing that it can be mostly erased if it's not working?
Yeah, that's a great question. And really, what we strive for at Baker Tilly is a mindset and a culture of curiosity. Don't just stand still. We're leaping, so it's okay. We've got your back. If you're going to try something, consider it. Don't just go crazy with it, but take a shot at it. Come up with, here's the plan that I think I want to execute on.
Yeah.
Maybe test the waters a little bit, get some buy-in from other people, and then give it a shot, and then learn from it.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here next year to hear what, after 12 months, what the next stage of the journey is for you. What's still in pencil, what's starting to be inked in a little bit.
Sounds
but
good.
we're all making progress forward. So Monica Martin, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.